Hi Nick, welcome to Austin.
Thank you for having me back. I didn't think you'd let me last time.
Have you had a chance to do anything Austin-centric since you've been here?
No, sadly, I flew straight in and then came straight here, and then we go and do a screening tonight, and then I'm picked up at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning to go.
Aw.
It's horrible. I love being in Texas, and it's always I think the last couple of times I've been here for South by Southwest and other little bits, so I've had a chance to be here for like a week at a time, which is always great. But just to come in and see it all around you and not be able to play with it is kind of frustrating.
Well, congratulations on the movie.
Thank you.
And what was the impetus for this movie?
I did have an idea about a man who was an amazing dancer and who met a woman who was unhappy in her relationship with her husband who couldn't dance, and he was a bit of a bully, and he decided to save her and save her through the power and majesty of salsa music. You know, that was kind of my original plan, and you know, it was a good idea. I felt like it was a good idea, and I think secretly I'd always yearned to do a big dance film, and it felt so unlike anything I'd ever done before that I was nervous of the idea, and I never told anyone, and it would haunt me. You know, I'd wake up at night with like images of me clad in sequins kind of dancing through my head. And I think the thing was, if I knew that if I was to tell someone about it, then I might just have to end up doing it. And so I didn't tell anyone for years. And then one night I came back from a party, and full of bravado, I kind of wrote an email to Naira, who's my producer, saying, I want to do this film. I want to, you know, I pitched the idea for the film and pressed send, and that was it. I've been caught, you know. And I woke up the next day and there was a message in my inbox from Naira that said, this is a great idea, let's have a meeting about it. And that was it, you know.
Well, why salsa as a dance?
Well, I think, you know, I'm a fan of Baz Luhrmann, you know, his film Strictly Ballroom. And because he did it so well, it can't be ballroom, you know. I think there's a few dances that could have done the trick for us in terms of passion and fire, the tango being one. But in terms of, there's not a big tango community in London, you know. But there is a big salsa community in London. And technically it looks beautiful, and it's a dance where a man shows off to a woman and they hold each other, and it's essentially making love without making love, you know, and it looks beautiful. There's a lot of silk and rhinestone, and it had to be all those things, you know, for it to be dazzling, I guess, for the cinema, for the theatre.
So what's the one thing you'd like people to take away from this movie?
I think if people leave the cinema with a little dance, you know, a little movement in their torsos, and maybe on the drive home they put on a kind of a Latino station and enjoy the sound. And it's a comedy, you know, it's nothing sinister about it. It's a romantic comedy with dancing in it, and I think if people feel happy and have had a good laugh and potentially go on and become world champion salsa dancers, then I think that's the best I can hope for.
If you had a dream project that you could do, what would your dream project be?
I don't know, I guess as a character actor you'd want to play someone really horrible, you know, a real something Daniel Day-Lewis turns down. Maybe I'll do something like that, you know.
So it took 6 months.
Yeah, it was 7 months. It was 7 hours a day, every day for 7 months to become a dancer.
Hard work.
Yeah, it was an absolute nightmare. I think an hour into day one, I thought, why did you ever tell anyone about this idea? I think I looked at myself and said, this is why you didn't tell anyone about this idea for 3 years, you know.
The dance scene
Yeah.
with Chris O'Dowd,
Yes.
that was very funny.
Thank you very much.
So how much of that was improv and how much of that was actually choreographed?
It was all choreographed. You know, the easy thing about that dance fight is because we wanted to shoot it like it was a fight, it meant that you only essentially had to learn little 20-second bits, and then, you know, with the power of an editing suite and movie magic, you know, you then cut it together and it looks choppy and there's a lot of movement and action. So, I mean, it was difficult to shoot. It took 4 days, and it was that we had a summer in London a couple of years ago where it was, you know, it gets up to London, it's kind of 97, 98 degrees
Oh.
Fahrenheit. So when you're dancing on an asphalt car park, it's essentially just a big heat sponge. So, you know, they kind of treated us like racehorses, and there were like cold baths we could get into, and lots of air conditioners in a tent, and it was really pleasant while the rest of the crew sweltered in 97-degree heat.
And suffered.
They suffer for their art.
Oh, congratulations on the movie, and I'm sure that it's going to be opening to rave reviews.
Thank you very much. Cheers.